Hello, everyone. I'm Divya Upadhyay, SciComm Associate and Community Engagement Lead at NextGen Biology International Newsletter. And it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today. Our speaker is Dr. Deeptarup Biswas, currently associated with the F.M. Kirby Neurobiology Center at Boston Children's Hospital, Harvard Medical School, working at the intersection of clinical neurobiology, single cell profiling, personalized peptide assay development, and big data analysis. He earned his PhD from IIT Bombay, where he developed and patented peptide based diagnostic panels for meningioma classification and went on to receive the Dr. Gargi Vishnoi Memorial Prize. He is the lead co developer of BrainProt, India's first omics based brain disease database, showcased at 28 national and international conferences and used to train over 9,000 participants since 2020. Beyond BrainProt, he has built several bioinformatics platforms, including GovProt, Phosphomap, and Clustome, and founded the BrainProt community and CHETNA to promote neuroscience awareness. He is also an NEPTEL instructor and mentor, and in 2023 won gold representing IIT Bombay at the Inter IIT Scientific Conclave, competing against 15 IITs. Everyone, please save your questions for the dedicated question and answer session at the end. With that, Dr. Biswas, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Charan, Saptamita, Divya, and for the opportunity and interact with the students. So I will be today talking about neuron to neural decoding the brain in the age of AI. So first of all, before I start the presentations, I always like to give this kind of topics more interactive discussions and trying to understand your perspectives. So we'll try to, I will have a few questions for you. We'll try to discuss a few things and then move forward. But I, before I start, I will just say that, I am working in the field of neuroscience, neurobiology from last couple of years, almost like 8 to 9 years. And initially, I was working in neuro-oncology, brain tumors when I was doing my doctorate. It's a collaboration with Tata Memorial Hospital, and now I'm working in the other side of the brain disease, that is the dementias. And that has actually helped me to understand that it's always not the diseases that we have to understand. That first is that we have to also understand the organ that we are working, is how complicated it is. And when there is a disease is happening, that means how complicated this particular understanding disease will be. And that is why I always mention that the brain is something, is the more I am trying to understand, the more I'm trying to learn about it, the more seems like it's giving me everyday new surprises. So I will start my talk with one of the famous quote by Andrew Fire. So he has awarded the Nobel Prize in 2026 in physiology. And I think, as we all know, that he won the Nobel Prize for the discovery of RNAi, a fundamental mechanism that flow, uh, control the flow of genetic informations. And he told that the human brain is much more interesting to study than any AI tools, right? And I'm sure that after the this particular presentation, I will try to give you or ignite some curiosity, some questions in your mind, all of your mind, that yes, why it's still the most interesting field to study. So how much do we really know about human brain? That's a question, always something that help me to keep me motivated to understand neuroscience and brain research. Any idea what is this? Just some guess. Let me check my chat box that I can take some of the. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Neural
Somebody.
organization, the cortex.
Mm-hmm. So that means most of you. Okay. Wonderful. So at least by looking into it, you first can understand that this is something to do with the neurons or the brains, something to do with the human brains, right? So yeah, wonderful that this is something the Harvard and the Google research have collaborated to map a tiny fragment of an adult human brain that reveals almost like 57K neurons, and it is somewhere in the blood vessels of and 150 million synapses. So this is just a very small section of human brain, and you can understand that the amount of connections, the neurons that are connected with each other, how much complicated it is. And the whole thing actually comes under the overall projects that's a collaboration that is trying to understand the human brain connectome. And if I just move forward, this is one of the most interesting projects that is happening, the Microns project. It's they are trying to develop a high 3D map, contains more than, I mean, millions of brain cells, around 82K neurons, then thousands and thousands of different types of cell types, trillions of synaptic connections. So why such a big project is happening? Why such developments is required? The reason is that still now this is one of the most complicated area of the human biology that is still we are understanding. We Most of the organs, most of the anatomical structure, we are pretty much aware how the mechanisms are happening, what is the way the particular organ works. But still now there are many facets in the human brain that we actually don't understand. And that's the reason why human brain neurobiology, neuroscience, neuropsychiatry is so much voids are there that researchers and scientists over the world are trying to understand. So that's something really interesting part. And that's again bring us to the question, that how much do we really know about the human brain? So I just gave an example of the Microns project, that how we are trying to understand the human brain, in regards to its different connections, synapse, neurons, each of the how the relay of informations is happening in the brain. But if I just move forward, as I do come from the background of proteins, right? It will be amazed to know that this is one of the biggest projects that is happening under the Human Protein Atlas. It's an ongoing project, which is the Human Brain, Protein Atlas, which is a part of the Human Protein Atlas. And if we try to understand the particular data sets and the knowledge base, what they are doing is that they are trying to take each different regions of human brain, like for example, anatomical region, subanatomical regions of human brain cell, for example, olfactory bulb, different cortexes, cerebellum, different types of human brain they are trying to take. And what they are doing is that they are trying to map the proteins and their expressions to understand and have a catalog of proteins and proteins specific to different region and sub-region, how each of these regions and sub-regions actually work. So this data sets, this particular consortium is mostly started working with the RNA expression data, and then followed by they are trying to move forward with some protein expression data and try to correlate and integrate that. And if we just see the current data from this particular consortium, we will see that almost 2000 plus proteins they found, which is elevated in human brain. There are almost 5100 proteins which is elevated in other organs and other parts of the human body, but also expressed in brain. And then we have low tissue specificity, then not detected in brain and not detected in tissues. So that means you understand that out of almost 20,000 proteins, there are 2000 protein which is exclusively or I will say that elevated in human brain. There are almost around 5,000 are there which is also, I mean, expressed in human brain. So almost somewhere around 7,000 8,000 proteins are there which is worth studying together to understand the building blocks and how the overall human brain and the functionality works, right? So this is itself is so complicated because when we try to understand the proteome of the human brain and in different regions and subregions, it itself works as a completely different environment. Different compartments have a different types of expression. If we try to compare between cerebellum and cerebral cortex, we have seen that we have seen difference, which is mostly a neuroanatomical region specific differences. So why I am focusing on certain projects which are big projects, big databases, knowledge bases, the reason is that I'm trying to make sure that we first understand and we take this into consideration, that how much amount of knowledge has been gathered to understand the human brain, and after that also we still don't know a lot of things about the human brain. But the next questions and the next thing which is very important is that how the brain actually works, and what is the reason the human brain is so different, and we are still trying to mimic the human brain in regards to the artificial intelligence. But what AI or the AI brains can do, and what our brains is superior enough from the AI brains, right? So to understand this, we will try to first look into or debate into a few words that actually makes our human brain. I compare the brains or the artificial brains, and we'll try to understand that how actually it works. So for that, let's first trying to understand about consciousness, right? So how many of you think that consciousness is something that is AI, or how will you differentiate AI brains or the neural networks with the human brain, whether AI brains are conscious? What do you think? No, right? So if we just try to understand about the consciousness, is the brain's ability to have awareness, the feeling of being me. So that's very very important, and that is the reason why yeah, higher consciousness is unique to human brain, right. So this is the reason, one of the most important reason, that uh why still our brain, and it's still a mystery, I will say, that how the brain consciousness is connecting. uh yeah, so lot of answers, thank you so much, but it's trying to we are still trying to understand how the consciousness is connecting with the human brain, our human brain behavior, right? Now the next question is coming about the recognition. What do you think that whether our brain can recognize things? That's one of the most important part of human brain. Do you think AI can recognize? Great. So the first answer is yes, and I agree. That is the most important part of AI, that it can recognize. The reason is that that is what is AI is known for. That is pattern recognitions, right? If there is a pattern based on that, it can recognize. And I will say that if you just look into the way AI and human brain is working, is that the kind of way the brain actually, our brain actually try to recognize based on certain patterns. AI also can do that. What about emotions? So obviously we don't have to debate on this, that yes, a human brain is depends on emotions, the experience on the emotions, lot of decisions are based on emotions. But if we just look into the AI or the artificial brains, it cannot, right? It's not depends on, there is no emotions, there is nothing. But obviously there is certain simulations are there which can be done to make sure that it's kind of take different types of data based on the simulation. It can do that for a examples, if I just talk about this particular part, there are many AI chatbots are there actually which can able to give reply, certain even the recognitions, certain voice adaptations which are happening based on the emotions. For example, we have seen when we use different LLMs, and when we write certain prompts that is a bit or with frustrations, the LLMs understand, and it actually tells you that please don't be frustrated or something like that, right? So that means it's the way LLMs actually are working nowadays, based on our wordings, based on our certain keywords, it's able to understand whether the user is frustrated or not. Or the way, if you are telling thank you so much, you are doing great, it will say thank you, and all this kind of words they will use. So that means the LLM is somehow able to understand our wordings, and based on that, it is kind of simulating and giving certain replies which we can connect with the emotions, or with with the the something that is kind of I will say is matching. But obviously that is completely based on simulation. The emotion that the human brain can experience and can can experience is completely different. Then component generation, obviously we don't have to talk that we are if in the era of generative AI, that lot of generations AI is doing, starting from even art, even scientific concepts, lot of things are happening, right? So awareness, this is an important word about the human brain. Whenever we talk about awareness, obviously one of the most important thing is that human brain is trying to use the awareness and use to make sure that it connects the experience with the awareness. Curiosity, do you think AI is curious enough? What do you think, whether AI is curious? No. Yeah. So right. So most of you are saying no. So Aditi, yes. Why do you think AI is curious? Aditi Singh. Anybody? I- If somebody thinks that AI is curious, then can you just tell me one point why? Okay. Instead of waiting, let me say that I will say that AI is only curious in not in that way, rather in hunting information or finding information only based on the prompts that we have, right? But the curiosity always driven by a purpose, and human brain always try to look into the, I mean, it's trying to become curious based on a purpose, which is very very important. I think there are many questions that comes into the human brain that might not be, still our AI is not that much evolved, that they are trying to find uh, trying to find the question by its own and trying to resolve it, right? So that is somehow I will say that still now, if I have to go choose between yes and no, I will choose no for a particular AI. Then dreaming, right? Why? Obviously, there is a word that always comes with the AI, that is hallucination. Most of you have heard, but obviously that is not dreaming. So hallucination is completely a negative components of artificial intelligence, and dreaming is something that still there is a lot of mechanisms connected with dreaming. Some certain mechanisms are connected with human dreaming and human data processing, that during the time when we are sleeping, there's a lot of data is getting processed in the subconscious minds, and that could be one of the reason that we dream, right? And when we move forward, we'll understand about the why dreaming is very very important of a living object, right? The brain is living objects, that's why it's dream. It's a beautiful concepts in the field of neuroscience, lot of research and behavioral studies are happening. And motivations, right? So word motivations with AI don't go at all. And obviously with the human brain, once we fail, it tries to motivate itself and try to make it better. And sometimes, obviously in the world of AI, we see that the penalty and scoring that is driven by the user's feedback, but at the same time that is nothing to do with the motivation. There's no doubt, and there is no a moving back that obviously AI can understand data, huge amount of data, which brain cannot do that, human brain cannot do that. But obviously the problem solving capabilities that AI is getting is something from the human brain. And the amount of curiosity, the dreams, the imaginations, and all awareness, curiosities are something that is always a tremendous powerful than AI. And that is the reason human brain intelligence is different. That is why where imagination comes and finally leads to innovations, right? So this is something, the three I of our humanity, which is intelligence, innovation, imaginations, and innovation, is something which is shaping the whole humanity. And if we start thinking from the days where history started, the discovery of the fire, invention of the wheel, and still we are moving forward, and every day we are seeing curiosity is the reason of the innovation. And that's one of the best example I can give. And if we just try to take AI is a powerful pattern learning and prediction system. That's the way I think AI is. Now, one of the most important questions in the world of AI, and when we are trying to compare between the neurons and the neurals, is that decision, right? So, what is this decision?
This is,
Anybody?
yeah, I think, can I say?
Yeah.
Okay, so decision is when you're trying to come up with like the final solution or the ultimate thing you're about to do. So, like the ultimate point of going ahead.
So, I will say it's a output,
Yeah, output. Yes.
right? It's an output, right? So, if I just try to think decision in a combination of multiple instances, then decision is informations. That means a lot of information that you gather that helps you to get into the output. Memory, that is because of the training the information with the past experiences, which is mostly known as training. But emotion is there because that is the reason the decision of a same incident, two-person have different, if they also have a same memories, same almost same memories, same experience, but might have a different decision. Reasonings plays an important role, values and experience. Now, if we just try to think that if we want AI to decide, okay, for the information, there is no problem. There is no, never an issue of AI with the information. There's a huge amount of information it can, engulf, it can train on. Memory, again, no problem. Huge amount of memories can be, can be allocated. Emotions, yeah, this is again based on simulations where something can be added, something are still questionable, lot of debates are there, but certain output with emotion might be possible if it is not connected with too much about the I mean the awareness and consciousness. Reasoning, obviously something that AI is good at, it's able to cope up. Values, it depends, right? It's a big questions about the ethics, about the, yeah, human thinking. The lot of things are there. And experience, again, this is something which based on personalized data, even AI can be trained on, and experience can also help. So if I just think about these words and trying to understand if decision can be done, so do you think AI can decide? Do you think AI is has having a capability to decide?
No.
Okay. Somebody yes, somebody no. Very good answer, and I am expecting that it will be between yes and no. Lot of questions, lot of lot of this question is always something. It's good to debate. It can analyze or predict, but not decide. Okay, great. So again, some yes. Okay. So before I move about the decision, let's talk about then what is decision support system. What do you think decision support systems are, and how this is different from decision? So decision support system is something that actually the keyword itself help you to understand that it is supporting, right? It is supporting the decision. Decision is very important word. Decision support system is again something associated with the decision, but a different word. And if you just give me, if you ask me to give an example, can somebody tell me what is this? What is this?
This is, I think, guidelines on how to make a decision, like different ways to help, which will help them make a decision.
So it's basically this is a particular interface that we generally see in the driverless car, right? I hope that you can see the screen, right?
Oh yeah, in this
Um,
context, yeah, it's a car. Yeah, sorry, driverless car.
yeah, it's a driverless cars interface that actually can help see, it guides you. It's certain, you can see the whole thing. So how it's happening, obviously based on lot of data that is getting acquired during the real time manner, starting from different sensors, cameras, everything is trying to take the data, integrate the data, train the data eventually with the pre-trained models, and finally coming up with then overall understanding and helping you decide, right? So this is something I can say decision support system, where it is helping a particular person to decide that okay, these components are there, and based on that, one of the most important example of the decision support system, can somebody tell me what is this image in the right hand side? Anybody? Right. So it's a mammograph image of
Mammography.
human breast, right? That is actually helping showing that a small tumor like morphology is there, and what we call is a decision support system. So what I'm trying to help you understand is that the decision is something a output. Decision support system is something that actually helps you or support to move towards the output, right? And AI is able to do that. AI is trying to make sure that AI is helping in supporting decisions that human is taking. Now from here, three most important word is coming: mimicry, augmentation, and autonomy, right? What is mimicry? Okay, so I think Shraddha just mentioned that AI lacks autonomy. Okay, but what is mimicry? Do you think AI can mimic human brain?
Somewhat, not.
Somewhat, right? Yeah. So it's, for example, if I just say like the chatbots, right? The agents, right? The AI agents. It if it's getting trained, and nowadays I think I do talk with couple of agents on the customer care over here in US, and I do see they almost like 80% to 90% they are talking and resolving problems like a human customer care, right? The debate is always between partially yes and yes, but at least in the world of which was not there at least 2 years back, and today we can all at least think that yes, AI can at least mimic the human brain. Now the second is that augmentation. What do you think augmentations are? Why do you think today's world there's a lot of augmented concepts are coming about the human AI? So yes, it is enhancing the human abilities rather replacing them. This is something which is happening and will be happening for the couple of years. That is for sure, that it will be somehow helping, assisting human to take decisions. And that is the reason a lot of decision support systems are getting built, right? You start from different MRI based systems, healthcares, different stock markets. There's a lot of decision support system softwares are coming, driverless cars. Sorry. Then your autopilot with AI guided systems. A lot of examples we will see over the year. In the upcoming years, and a lot of research is happening. But autonomy, right? This is the most important question. That do you think AI connected with the decision and a decision system autonomy is possible, or we see any example where autonomy is possible in today's world? Obviously, till today, do you see that is there autonomy is you can see as an example that a particular AI based right? I think just now
Self-driving car.
self-driving car, or completely driverless car. And that is one of the example that I have in the next slides, is the Waymo. That one of the wonderful thing I saw recently when I visited California in San Francisco, that there is no driver, nobody is sitting there, and it's just roaming around the street. There are many cars who are moving and trying to find find a customer coming to you, take opening the door. You're just sitting, and it is moving properly synchronously, and it is reaching to the a destination. So this is something which is Jaguar is one of the company that is actually doing this, and it is working perfectly. I feel that it is right now present in San Francisco. I saw in San Francisco, but slowly it is moving to the Vegas. Then the next was the San Diego. So there is things are happening autonomously, completely without any inputs of the human. We do see that AI is kind of integrating with the reality nowadays. So yes, there are less examples, but there are examples. That's the most important part. Now we have to understand that how we have reached to autonomy, right? This is very important. So for that, we have to understand that how a brain actually decides. So if we just see that how we help how we drive, right? That is the first, is that the senses. That's very important, right? And if we want to connect this with neuroscience, we will understand the sensory cortex is something that actually plays an important role to understand, to deal with senses. Then understand the context, then uses experience. Obviously you have to also get trained before you sit in the driver seat, right? That is why license is important, because you are getting trained and then you're getting a license. So that means your brain your brain is getting first of all trained. That is very important. Then consider emotions, ethics, and then finally decides. So this is an example how human is actually deciding, with taking an example that how we drive, and how the same things a particular autonomous AI driven driverless cars are doing, is that senses is kind of connecting with the sensors, right? If when we sit into a completely driverless cars, we do see that if a car is passing by very closely, it is based on their sensors and cameras. It gives a warning that the car is passing very close to the car that we are sitting, and giving a red color warnings in the interface that we see. That means the sensors over here plays an important role nowadays. And then object recognition, or the pattern recognition, that is AI is really good in that. Then prediction models, predicting and finally planning the algorithm, and the action, vehicle action, which is the decisions, right? So this is really important. And this is, if we understand and we see an example over here, then I'm sure that there will be autonomous systems will be coming slowly, steadily in the upcoming years, that we will see a tremendous growth in that. So another thing is that if you see this two workflows, we will understand that we are trying to make sure that we understand how brain works, and we are trying to mimic in the AI so that AI can work in similar protocols. Right? That means understanding the human brain is very important. Understanding the mechanisms of the human brain is very important, and then only we can move more towards the autonomous, uh, you know, systems, and decisions will be completely taken by AI, and we will be kind of aligning, or we will be happy, we will consider that those decisions. But now if we move forward and we'll try to understand that what we do see in the neurons are, I'm sure that we have looked into this particular structure in our biology books in the during the schools, and it's having axon, it is having dendrons, this is having a cell body, there is a synapse connections, all these things. And if today's world, if you really see a neural network, okay, it almost mimics the way a particular neuron works, right? That is the reason the word from neuron to neural actually has been adapted. And if we just take forward, we'll see that it's actually a input layer, then there is a couple of hidden layers are there, and a couple of outputs are there. And if we really take things forward, we will understand that how it works is that there is certain weights are there, obviously input data is there, different types of inputs are there, then there is weights are there, how much weightage we do give to each of these different inputs, and there is a bias is there, it's kind of exact number to for the calculation to help the model shift or adjust the output even when the input is zero. And it helps even to neuron make decisions, right? And then there is different types of optimizers are there, I mean activation functions are there for the optimization, and finally an output. If we just try to understand this one with a neuron, you will see a lot of connections, lot of matches, even the concept called neuron fire also matches with the neurons and the neural networks, right? So this is important for us to understand the symmetry. We do see that the AI developments are happening with the human brain, is that the more we understanding the human brain, the mechanism that it works, we are trying to make sure that we take the data, feed into AI, and we are trying to make AI much more independent, much more strong as possible. How a particular when we see a bird, we understand that this is this bird. That's is possible because first of all our brain try to predict the pattern that this is kind of having the wings, it is flying, so that means it's a bird. And then based on certain patterns, certain very unique observations, we can understand, okay, this is red color, this is something. But if we haven't seen parrot before, we can never identify a parrot, right? We can identify a bird, but we can never identify a parrot if we haven't seen a parrot before. So that means our brain has to make sure that it understand, process the data, it's kind of try to make sure that it remembers, this is the major I mean unique features or the fingerprints of a parrot, and then only we can understand that, identify this is parrot. So same thing, network, which is mostly this the convolutional neural network example, are able to do that. Is that you have a particular bird, it's based on different features. First of all, the data has been trained to make sure that it have the identifications, all the fingerprints that can helps in to make sure that this is a bird. And then you see there's a dog, bird, and cat, and it will be choosing the bird because it is identifying based on certain patterns that helps it to identify the bird, right? Now anybody know that whether this is this particular image, how generally image get processed for an AI? Anybody know that how a image, whether a image is a data, and if image is a data, then how AI process the image?
That the input that we gave to the AI, so that prompt, so it analyzes the prompt and then generate the image.
No, I'm not talking about generating an
Um,
image, because generative image is completely different. But I'm just talking, if you give an image, right? If you are uploading a particular image, And yeah, so somebody just told pattern. I was searching for this particular word, pattern, right? Now what do you mean by pattern? It's in a
Your
pixel. Very good.
pattern,
Hmm?
your pattern can mean specific visual features
Mm-hmm.
with the
Wonderful.
like with the help of specialized neural networks. AI
Mm-hmm.
analyzes or tries to find the specific visual features which are
Wonderful.
given to it by humans.
Yeah. So that means somehow the image is also converted into a data, and where the word pixel comes, and that's my next slide, is that when we have an image like this, okay, it is nothing but a accumulation of multiple pixels. And if you see that pixels, this can be converted into a data and a matrix of 1D. And I'm sure that all of us know that this pictures belongs to Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of United States. If we just take this particular figure and we want to image and we want to convert into a data, then this is the way we do that. It's a very basic and preliminary example I'm giving, that I'm sure that many of you might not aware about the image processing. So that's the most important part, is that how actually a image can be converted into data. And somebody just told about pixel. That's something we are doing. So that means you have to understand that it's no magic is happening. Everything is data, and the best you can provide a data to AI for their training models. That is the reason nowadays, in the era of today, we see that data is gold. Data is getting compared with gold. And I will talk about data in the later phase, that why the data is gold and what is the problems with the even with the also the data. Now this is another image. I'm slowly moving into the healthcare aspect now. That what is this image? Obviously, as it's written, brain images, so I'm not expecting you to say it's brain, but what type of image it is, what type of medical image it is.
MRI.
MRI, right?
MRI.
So this is an MRI image, and I'm sure that many of you might not be working in the field of neuro-oncology, and this is a brain tumor that we can see over here in the left hand side of the image, and this is a particular image. Now, for example, if I have one image with the tumor, another image without the tumor, and as I just talked about the brain data, how the image processing can be done, I'm pretty much sure that you can understand that prediction and even towards certain augmented decision or the support system is kind of pretty much possible is in today's world. And how it's mostly happen is that when there is a particular image is there, it first gets resized. So this is an important step, is that so all these things are happening in the human brain, right? When we see two objects, similar object, but the shape is different, the size is different, our brain and we try to first understand that it's compared based on the same perspective, right? The similar thing also AI and any models, any machine learning models require, is that first you have to make sure that all the images should be same resized to make sure that it can be compared. Second is the normalized, right? Certain images, if it is pretty much bright, certain image is not that much bright, so normalization, there is a denoising, lot of things are there. So what I'm just trying to make you understand is that the data that right now we have might not be present at its best form for the AI to get trained. So you have to make sure that we make the data perfect for an AI to get trained. So this is really, really very, very important, that the data might be present, but it requires a lot of pre-processing to make sure that it can be properly trained. If everything is based on the data, so that data should be something that is properly processed before we feed the data into any before we doing any training of the model. Now I will just give an very simple example which is right now working. We are working in this field, and we are developing a lot of support system in this particular field, that how the brain tumor segmentations and the classifications actually happens. So a particular a subject is moving to a hospital, taking an MRI image. And the goal is that the MRI image will be uploaded into a system, or computer, or a software, or a mobile app. And this, from the MRI data that collected, it will process the data to make sure that it is into that particular shape, size, and with all the parameters that it requires for feeding into before the into the digital support system. And then the next part is very important, which is feature extraction. That means it is able to identify the feature first that can actually classify brain tumor, or it's able to reach to the decision. And then once it's extraction, then the word is selection is important, and finally reducing the dimensionality. That means if there is too many features are there, for example, there, if you see into this particular images, if we want to think that okay, we will be only extracting the tumor pattern based on the very wide hyperintense zone, it's not possible. So always not possible, because you do see there is a hyperintense zone over here also. So you have to understand that it is not only identifying a feature, rather it's selecting a feature and reducing the dimensionality. And then there is a segmentation, and finally tumor area calculations and the accuracy and prediction. This is how things are happening. We have understood how the brain actually takes decision. Brain takes the data, we identify the understand the data based on our experience. We come to a conclusion, right? That is why when we look into a MRI image, a common person is looking into MRI image, and the neuro surgeon or the neurologist is looking into MRI image, the neurologist can understand and come to a conclusion, because his brain, or his or her brain, has been completely trained using multiple levels of brain images, their theory, their practical, lot of image data. And that is why we say that an experienced doctor is required in complicated cases, because they have been trained in those particular complicated cases. This is a basic example how a MRI data sets moving into a detection, then segmentation, then classification, and then prediction, right? And survival prediction is also possible if we provide the data in that particular aspect, right?
Dr. Deep, sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt you. You have 10 to 15 minutes more to finish your
sure,
talk.
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
So this is something I just wanted to spend some more time, because this is happening these days. This is something which is happening these days, and we are trying to make sure that we develop more decision support system. And I just gave an example using MRI. Now the question is coming using advanced precision oncology. Is MRI data or one type of data is only something that is making models works? Absolutely not. Now, if we are thinking about making digital twins, this is a unique concept that is right now there, is that we are trying to make sure that we are developing twins. That means a digital version of a particular organ that is present based on data, real-time data, using a lot of Fitbit data. That means the wearables that we are using. And nowadays, the world is moving towards integrating multiple different types of data sets, right? For example, as you can see, the genomics data, which is mostly mutations, then the scans or the images, which is kind of helping us to understand about the anatomical changes, physiological changes that is happening in a particular in a human body, and histological size, more towards the morphological and cellular level data. And together integrating all this information, selecting the features, integrating those in machine learning, and then the neural networks actually plays an important role. And finally we reach to a conclusion, which is mostly MMI multimodal integrations that are happening. This is the right now a lot of research is happening in this particular field. We are working in the field of omics. We are trying to integrate the IHC data and MRI image data, and finally coming up with the decision support system. But this is a big questions always lies when we are working in the field of the healthcare, is that uh, AI is good. It's supporting, But if based on certain decision support system, if Netflix is giving you a bad predicting a bad movies, is just waste your 2 hours. If a AI is recommending a wrong treatment, there is somebody's life, somebody can lose their life, and somebody it's always connected with the failures of the healthcare, right? So it is always very, very important to make sure that we understand where to bring the AI and make it autonomous, and where it cannot, right? And that's the one of the reason till I always mention this, that healthcare field will be the last field where AI will be hitting completely. Okay, because till now it's something, because of the heterogeneity of the data. The biological data is never linear. It's having so many comorbidities, so many covariates. It's always very difficult to actually make autonomous decision using AI. But how it can be achieved? Obviously using data, more data, lot of human data can be integrated. And that is where we come as a synthetic data versus real data. How many of you think that today's world is getting driven by synthetic data? So what does synthetic data mean? Synthetic data means that we can generate data based on certain pattern in the real data, but those are not real data. AI is actually generating a lot of synthetic data to make sure that it can, make its, model better, because there is not so much real data is available in everywhere. And we are thinking that with the increase in the year, when we move forward, we will see a real hype. I mean, huge amount of, synthetic data, which is sometime good. Sometimes is not good. Sometimes good. If you have a very good trained model, keep on training the model based on number of n's, then synthetic data is good. But if you really want to identify and catch that important fingerprints, which is based on personalized experience of the clinicians, then it's not possible. So that's why I always say that before the first great AI models that we see today has been developed based on lot of human based data, human generated data, from the decades and decades of conversation, decades and decades of knowledge. However, nowadays the new models, if so much synthetic data is around, so much content based on AI is around, it is something it's very, very, very difficult. Yeah, I think there is a doubt. You can ask the question. Oh, you can just write the question. I will take it later. Okay. And that is one of the reason, at least I have always think of how we can generate more real data and we can integrate that. And that is the reason we have developed BrainProt. It's developed in 2020. And this is one of the India's first omics database that we have 56 human brain diseases. Huge amount of real data is available over here. We have tried to make it as user friendly as possible, to make sure that it can not only help you to get the data, but it can visualize the data. Different types of diseases are there. You can look into the real data. You can
Sir,
look
can I
into
ask?
the actual data, right? And this is kind of helping, this kind of catalogs and this kind of database will be helping in the AI, and will be helping the machine learning models to train better. And this is one of the, something that already has been discussed, that BrainProt has been showcased in almost 28 national and international scientific events, and almost 10,000 students has been, we have given the demo and they have used that. And it's one of the database we are keep on, trying to make sure that we are keep on integrating new information, coming up with new releases. The first release happened in 2022 in Hupo Conference, Mexico, and the third release happened in ASMS USA in 2024. And we are moving forward with new information, and the reason is that to make sure the lot of real data we put into, we catalog into, so make sure to that helps the AI to actually come up with a better decision support system. And where we see lot of real data till now is in PubMed, that is the research manuscripts, repository, and where you will see decades and decades of research has been put together. And this is one of the reason I have recently developed Sci Hunter. I will share the link with all of you, that it helps you actually identify manuscripts. It can helps you come up with certain informations, try to get first manuscript based on your need. So now the next question, the last question is coming, whether it's a hype and hope, right? Obviously, AI can replace human is a hype. AI is assisting human is a hope, right? So we should always make sure. And before I end my talk, I will just try to say that anybody knows what is this? Any idea what is this image is all about? Okay, so as we have less time, this is an image of the galaxy, of the cosmos. Yeah, absolutely. And till July 2026, NASA has confirmed 6,000 plus planets are there outside the Milky Way. There's 400 billion stars, but almost 1,000 times more connections, synapses, neurons are present in the human brain. The most complicated living things is actually present inside us, right? And that is the reason I think more neuroscience researchers require, more awareness is required. So I will conclude over here, and we'll be happy to take a few questions if you have, if there is some time left.
What an insightful and inspiring session we had today. Thank you so much, Dr. Deeptarup. Whatever thank you I say, it's always less. What an incredible journey you have today. So, as we come to the end of the today's webinar, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Deeptarup Biswas, for sharing his remarkable journey and invaluable insights. Your work at the intersection of neurobiology, bioinformatics, personalized diagnostics, and translational research is truly inspiring. Thank you for taking the time to enlighten us with your knowledge, experience, and vision for the future of neuroscience. I would also like to sincerely thank each and every participant for joining us today. Your curiosity driven questions made this session even more interactive. Also, a kindful thanks to our whole NextGen Biology International newsletter for their efforts making this webinar possible. I do have a very incredible team. We hope today's session has sparked new ideas and inspired you to continue exploring the fascinating world of science. Before we sign off, don't forget to join our community to stay updated about our upcoming webinars, opportunities. The joining link has been shared in the chat box. Thank you once again for being with us today. We look forward to welcome you to our next session. Have a wonderful day. Stay curious and keep learning and enjoy.